Hello, Karen Beers here, and I am participating in Daisy Yellow Index Card a Day for 2023. It's my first time participating. I'm kind of excited. Let's get to it. I didn't want to get inky, but I wanted to get inky. And how many of you, probably just me, right, keeps these deli paper leftovers that are covered in paint and look awesome with the intention of using them and never do? Well, today I decided I really wanted to do paint, but I didn't want to pull out my paints. Life is busy right now, and I decided I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull this out. So look at that. That's going to be an instant background. Shazam! For 61 days. So we'll see how I do. I'm struggling with motivation right now just because life has been crazy busy. And I'm teaching, and sometimes it's hard when, you know, you're in this industry teaching and designing to find time to play and do the stuff that you want to do, because it's, you know, kids, family, summer, school's out, all that good stuff. But basically what I'm doing right now is I'm just putting the collage medium on my card, and I'm just going to place my paper on top in a randomly type fashion. And press down. And I didn't put enough medium on. One of the challenges when you're using plastic, like deli paper, it's kind of a slick surface. And so it doesn't really necessarily want to adhere to my, so I'm going to put just a thicker coat to try and combat that. There we go. That should be good. And then I'm going to press down really well because I don't want bubbles. Although bubbles would be fun too, I suppose. And I'll let that dry a hot minute and then just tear the paper around. All right, I dried that. I hit it with my heat gun a little bit to dry that up. And then I'm just going to come along and tear, and you can tear however you want, whichever way. I don't mind if it's sketchy. In fact, that's kind of fun. I'm just really excited that I'm finally using one of these things. I keep them because, you know, rather than waste paint, I use these as a palette. And then, and you can see here, I've used it as a palette and then to wipe off a stencil kind of thing. This is even the stick is attached, stuck there. But look at that, immediate, just instant luscious background, shazam. So that is really fun. I did get some wrinkles, but that's okay. I like that, adds a little bit of texture. Now that I have my background done, now what? I've just pulled out a few Dina Wakley things, the Collage Sparks booklets, which is a sort of a new, oh my goodness, this is hard because it's two-sided. I'm gonna have a really hard time cutting these up. You know, that's the challenge, right? We want both sides. Then I've grabbed some transparencies, and this pack has 2 of each of these printed, and I think I'm going to use these little people here. So I've got the peoples. Sorry for the light. It's really hard not to have that shadow or brightness or whatever. And then I've got type ledgers, which I love these. These are just a zillion different quotes from all over the place that Dina's done on ledger paper and stuff like that. So let's see what we get. So I really like this. I think that'll add some contrast because it got a lot of color going on already. And I tell you what, here's the other thing. These are awesome. I would use these in my pocket pages so I could use both sides, you know, maybe put a photo here, like a photo here with some journaling, and then a photo with some journaling, whatever, because I would hate to use, I'm sorry, companies, one side. We want to use both sides of these. And I know you can buy 2. It's a very nice weight though, but for this, the other thing you could do though is use it as an inspiration. because I'm like, oh, well, that would be fun. I could just stamp on white and then add it and then use the card for something else. So I might do that. Hello, Crazy Town. So I've just taken Dina's stamp set. I don't know why, but when I craft, I tend to craft, like I'm using all Dina Wakley products right now. So here's Dina's stamp set block alphas, Nummy Nummy. And I'm just going to stamp that on white card using archival ink. And I don't know why, but when I art, a lot of times I tend to stick with one designer's products. I don't know why. Part of it is because I tend to keep them all together. Like I have all Dina Wakley stuff together. I have a lot of Seth Apter stuff together. You know, so that's part of the reason, I guess. But it's just, I don't know, easier on my brain maybe. So I'm just going to cut this out in a higgly-piggly. I also tend to channel the artist whose products I'm using. And the only thing is, I don't want to cover up everything with one. So I think what I'll do is, I'm going to cut these up. And again, not necessarily. And I do have this sort of one big nice splotch that doesn't have a lot going on. I don't want to cover up a lot of that gold or copper. I think this is actually Dina's paint as well, some of it. Because this tends to be the combination I use when I use her paints. So, yeah, there. That'll be good. Okay, I like that. And then that was my inspiration. So that's kind of fun how it's very different from what the inspiration was. But I'm liking the idea of using those art cards as a, actually what does Dina calls them, collage sparks, as a, in two ways. That's kind of fun, you know, as opposed to just using the card. And then let's cut this one out. I have to figure out a better way to film. The thing I love about these is you still get to see what you have behind the 8-ball. What's behind the transparency. All right, changed my lighting. So hopefully that will get rid of that, as much of that circly bit. It's hard to tell. That's the challenge that me and a lot of my designer friends deal with, is you need the light, you don't want the shadows, but then you have the ring. Now it's kind of, okay, I'm really liking that. And then I think the quote can just go here. Okay, I chose this. Self-care is how you take your power back. And again, I just cut it from one of the ledger sheets. I think I am not alone right now with life is just kicking me in the buttocks as far as family issues and the world, state of the world. And I'm having to be more intentional about my self-care just because, you know, as a busy mom and daughter of an aging mother, I don't take the time for myself. And so I'm really having to just be intentional about, okay, and that's one of the reasons why I want to do this, is because this is self-care. My art is my self-care. It helps my brain settle down. It helps me, just helps. I think it's hard to do when life is emotional, but I think it's so important. And so a challenge like the index card a day, ICAD, is a perfect way to kind of push me into doing what I should be doing. So there's my card. Now I'll just assemble it. All right, and then as far as assembling, I'm just going to use the collage medium again for these guys. Guy and gal, I don't know. She kind of looks like, that kind of looks like a gal. Could be a guy or a gal. And then the key is to sort of smoosh them around. Like you move them around and it helps to make it clear. So you don't end up with glue showing through. There's so many ways to do this. I know Dina likes using her heavy gel. I think she has a heavy gel. And then there you can staple them. I like to make sure I smooth down the glue afterwards so there's not a bunch of streaks. But again, it's mixed media, so, you know, streaks are part of the game. Doesn't matter. Bonus texture. Because I really wanted to just use the tiny attacher. I just want to sort of attach these randomly. Again, channeling Dina, this is something she likes to do a lot in her art, is just randomly staple things. So kind of like that, and it's a little flippy, that's fine. And then I'm going to put my quote. So the one thing about the ICAD also is there are prompts that you can get if you go on Gypsy999 Instagram, and she has a link to a blog post that has all the information on what ICAD's all about. There are daily prompts and then weekly themes, I guess. And it's very loosey-goosey. You can choose to follow that. You don't have to. That's one of the things I like, but I'm going to try and follow it because it is my first time. So for example, this week is ink, mark making, that kind of thing. I can't remember the whole thing. The problem is it's all on my phone and I'm using my phone to videotape. And then today's prompt is polka dots or dots. So I'm going to add some dots to this to work in that theme. One of the things you do want to do with this brush once you've used your collage medium, you do want to wash it. Glue will ruin your brushes, and this is a really good, this is a Tim Holtz. I love it. It's perfect. It's made for this specifically. And so I kind of use it only for this, but then you do want to wash it. I tend to use a little bit of dish soap because it will dry in here and it'll wreck your brush. Right, now I'm just going to take a Posca pen and to do some of the dots. I haven't used these in a while. So the idea is you shake them up. There's ink inside, hopefully. No, this one's dead. Like I said, I haven't used them in a while, which is sad because they're awesome and I love them. My challenge is I have product that I love and then I don't. So I'm just going to grab a V-ball pen. It's one of my favorites for this because it just seems to work and work. And because I just want to kind of highlight these words a little with some sketchy and after I do that, I always like to just scribble on a piece of paper so in case it did pick up any paint in the nib that I won't wreck my pen and the next time I go to use it, it will still work. Let's see. Okay, this one is working. And so to fulfill the polka dot concept, I'm just gonna do, whoa, that was a little blobby, that's all right. just gonna do a couple of polka dots here and there. And it's nice and juicy, so I can probably get some splatters too. Oh, I'd like some splatters on the peoples. There we go. That's fun. Might just wipe this away. It's got a lot of excess on it. All right. I think what I will do, last thing maybe, is to outline. Just do a bit of a sketchy outline. It's challenging because it doesn't want to write so much on the, that's why I like these pens. It doesn't want to write on the wax, but it's still kind of doing it. Just make a little frame. There we go. Number 2, done. I kind of love it. Bring back my inspiration. There was my inspiration. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna add this, just put a photo. I love that idea of using these. I know Dina does want you to use them on your art too, so we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I just have to get another pack. Hee hee. Anyway, thanks for joining me. See you later. Go get inky.